Hello everybody, you're watching World Without Rule of Law. Welcome to another segment of an unscripted moment. It's a beautiful fall day here in southern New England. I know it looks like winter, but winter's not for 2 more days. And I want to talk about something, and I've made several attempts to do this video and ended up stopping short. So what I want to try to avoid is putting my opinions into this and sticking to facts, right? So of course you all know we're dealing with a pandemic. There I go, opinions already, implied or otherwise. And I know it's real. I know people that have suffered from it. I know a couple people. I know a guy that's 70 and he was in the hospital for a couple weeks and had a horrible time. I know other people that have had it, various ages, and it was like a bad cold. And I know other people that have tested positive and had very mild symptoms. So yeah, I know it's real. The flu's real. You know, I worked with a guy 10 years. He took the flu shot every year. I refused the flu shot every year. They offered it to us at work. He got sick with the flu 7 out of 10 of those years. I didn't get the flu once. What does that mean? It means nothing. But here's the reality of it. Freedom. It's a free choice. I was free to choose not to get it. He was free to choose to get it. We each did our own risk assessment. We each decided what was right for us. Right? Today, we're seeing those freedoms erode. They're being taken from us. We have to wear masks when we go to the store. And that's a choice too, right? I could refuse to do that. I could simply not go to that store. And I've done that in certain cases. But in other cases, I comply. I capitulate. I put on the magic polyester shroud of protection. There I go, implying my opinions again. And I enter the store because of convenience or for whatever reason. But there comes a time, a couple of years ago, I broke my ankle. Happens if something like that happens next year. And I'm told that I can't get treatment for it in the ER unless I have the vaccine shot. Well, then I'm going to have a choice to make. I'm going to choose as long as I can to not to get the vaccine shot. That's my own personal choice. I've taken a risk assessment, done a risk assessment. I've reached the conclusion that I don't want it. It doesn't mean I think it's bad. It doesn't mean I think you're a wimp if you get it, or you're in any way against freedom. You have the freedom to choose to get it. And those are choices we make as Americans. But again, those freedoms are eroding. Now, the name of that virus was the buzzword for 2020. I believe the buzzword for 2021 is going to be mandate. As they're going to try to mandate these things. We already beat each other up on social media with our opinions, emoting our opinions. This is not a case that's going to be adjudicated on social media. But yet, for many it is. As we go on there and we yell and we scream, I've done it too, right? You know, we got to draw lines in the sand, each one of us, and politically as well, right? The right, I happen to agree mostly with conservative ideologies. I don't think we're ever going to stand up. If we've let an election be stolen, and even if you don't believe it was, there's certainly enough questionability there to where I believe it needs to be investigated. I can't definitively say it was stolen or it wasn't stolen. Again, I have my opinions about it, but I think it needs to be looked at, it needs to be investigated. I think every American should want that free election. If my candidate had won and there was a question about it, I wouldn't object to the investigation because I want to make sure that it is done fairly, no matter if my side wins or loses. Put that aside, right? That's a topic for another time. This mandates from the state that we're getting for this virus, they, in my opinion, they went too far. On Thanksgiving, the governor of this state said no more than 10 people at a house, private residence, for a gathering. I believe they're exceeding their authority. Again, I can emote a lot of stuff about that. I can say a lot of things about a lot of different people. I can try to make my point, my opinion. None of that matters. Here's what I know. I have an opinion about it. I have an opinion about the severity of this virus. Again, I know it exists, but and I also, when I need to go to the store or when I want to go to a certain store, if they require masks, I have worn masks, and I will do so when I'm required to. For no other reason than I want to enter that store and get what I need, or that restaurant, or whatever. And actually, I've pretty much stopped going to restaurants because of that. And I've stopped going to stores because of that. And sure, we still need groceries, we still need things, so every grocery store has a mandate. I buy as much stuff as I can online, but then I have to go into the store. That's a choice, right? But I have my opinions of whether that's right or wrong. I'm not going to emote that here. But when you tell me, Governor, that I cannot have more than 10 people in my home, and everything, like first we're going to close for 2 weeks, and then they push that envelope and that line, but they never relax and let it push back or let it fall back, right? So it was going to be for Thanksgiving. Now they're talking about for Christmas and New Year's the same thing. Well, I'm not going to comply. It doesn't matter what my opinion is. It doesn't matter what anybody's opinion is. The fact of the matter is, you don't have the right to tell me that. When I want to have 20 of my friends over to my house for Christmas dinner, I do a risk assessment on that for myself, as does every one of those 20 people. If one of those people, or if 19 of those people, decide that they don't want to take that risk, and again, I could say, well, they're living in fear of this virus. That doesn't matter. That's my opinion. It doesn't matter what I think about it. Fact of the matter is, if they say, I'm not going to come to your house because I'm not willing to take that risk of exposure to those other 19 people, then I respect that. I'll make every effort I can to include you. We can FaceTime. We can do whatever. I don't hold any ill will toward you. I recognize that living in a free society, we both enjoy that freedom, whatever side we decide, whatever side of any issue we fall on. So when it comes to a Christmas gathering, if I say no, I'm inviting everybody I know because I don't think the risk is worth living my life in isolation. That's my freedom to choose that. If you don't think it's worth the risk, then you can choose to isolate yourself at any or at all times. That's your freedom. And I respect that. But it's a whole nother matter when the state comes in and decides that for us. When they say, no, you can't meet because, why? Because you're going to slow the curve if you don't. You're going to, if you do, they try to put that label on you like you don't care about public safety. That's a bunch of bull. That's a bunch of bull. That's an overreach. That's tyranny. That's the state crossing a line that they have no business to cross. It's nobody's business who comes into my home for Christmas dinner, except mine and those people that decide to come or not come. And if they do come, then they've done that risk assessment and decided that they wanted to take the risk. For whatever reason, they didn't want to live in isolation. They wanted to get together with friends and family and fellowship. And again, those that don't want to, they don't want to assume that risk. They have that freedom as well. But the governor in the state of Connecticut does not have the authority to tell me how many people I could have in my home for Thanksgiving or for Christmas or at any other time. That's a line in the sand, right? That's a line that they don't have the authority to cross, although they are crossing it. I don't know how they're gonna enforce it, other than to have your neighbors call on you. And for anybody that calls on their neighbors because they're having too many people at their house for Christmas, shame on you. And you're part of the problem, not part of the solution. Is this virus real? Sure it is. Is it as bad as they say it is? Maybe for some people. Again, I could give you my opinion, but I don't want to do that. My opinion doesn't matter. What matters is my right to choose those things for myself, and your right to do the same. That's what's at stake. That's what matters. Our freedoms, our rights, and a tyrannical government that's looking to infringe upon them and take them from us. And it has nothing to do with the virus. It's the same thing with the flu, right? Is it an epidemic? Yes. Do people die from it? Sure they do. Yet, throughout my whole life, my whole adult life, I've had the freedom to choose to get the flu shot or not get it, as did everybody else. And like I said, I've worked with people, and I've known people that have gotten it every year, and I've chosen every year not to get it. And we were always able to sit down at the same table and eat dinner together or have fellowship, because we both recognized that that was freedom. That was a freedom we both had. It didn't divide us. It didn't balkanize this nation. And that's not the case today. So again, opinions don't matter. Doesn't matter what my opinion is. The fact is, we need to preserve our freedoms. And we all need to decide where that line in the sand is going to be. And for me, the governor is not going to tell me who I can and cannot have into my home. That's for me to decide, and for them to decide, and for all you to decide. And if I invite you over for Christmas and you decide not to come because you don't want to take the risk, I respect it, and I still love you. God bless you.